Recently, NATO's nuclear exercises took place less than 900 kilometers from Russia's border, raising significant questions about the alliance's intentions. As Russia moves to upgrade its nuclear policy, NATO's annual Steadfast new exercise takes on added importance, signaling a shift in military strategy. With tensions rising, is this a mere coincidence, or is NATO sending a clear message to the Kremlin? In this discussion, we will explore these critical questions and their potential global implications. NATO's 2024 nuclear drill. This year's NATO drill will involve nuclear-capable aircraft, bombers, fighter escorts, refueling planes, and surveillance and electronic warfare planes. Hosted by Belgium, the Netherlands, and the UK, the exercise will also pass over Denmark and the North Sea. 13 allies, including the Netherlands with its first nuclear-ready F-35A fighter, will participate. NATO aims to protect its nations and deter aggression, preparing for the possibility of nuclear use. NATO General Secretary Mark Rutte emphasized the need to demonstrate the alliance's defense capabilities to adversaries, particularly as the drills take place 900 kilometers from Russia. The exercise showcases NATO's ability to defend its 32 member countries. Despite concerns over deterrence, NATO's preparedness for rapid escalation is clear, especially as adversaries like North Korea and Iran present growing nuclear threats. NATO's nuclear sharing strategy involves countries like the US, UK, and France, with the US providing the alliance's primary nuclear deterrent. 7 allies contribute dual-capacity aircraft capable of deploying nuclear missiles in conflict and using conventional tactics daily. Since 2003, NATO's annual Steadfast noon exercises have focused on nuclear deterrence and readiness, with Belgium hosting the 2022 exercise. These drills are critical as nuclear deployment decisions require collective approval, with 61 European nuclear bombs stored in Belgium, Germany, and Italy, awaiting NPG approval for use. Emerging Russian nuclear doctrine. NATO's latest operation mobilizes all personnel for high-tempo conflict, planning every weapon use and launch in detail. The drills simulate scenarios with a hypothetical enemy, as explained by Daniel Bunch, Chief of Nuclear Operations at SHAPE. Putin's new nuclear strategy accelerated NATO's exercise schedule. In 2020, Russia signed the Basic Principles of State Policy on Nuclear Deterrence, stating that nuclear weapons would only be used in extreme situations such as ballistic missile attacks or threats to Russia's survival. Despite this, Russia has argued that the policy is too vague, especially as the West supports Ukraine, believing Moscow won't use nuclear weapons. Putin's rhetoric has grown more aggressive, warning that any nuclear strike on Russia would lead to unprecedented retaliation. Putin said, "Look what's written there," in St. Petersburg. "When our sovereignty and territorial integrity are threatened, we use all available methods." Now, efforts are underway to lower the threshold even further to allow nuclear weapons use at the slightest danger to Russia. Foreign Affairs Specialist Dmitry Trinin of the state-funded Moscow think tank Institute of World Economy and International Relations advises revising the nuclear policy to allow Russia to attack first if national interests are at stake. Nuclear force should only be used in defense, and this is a serious infringement. He thinks Russia should stop NATO from getting involved in the third year of the war. Trinin thinks NATO will take Russia more seriously if the doctrine allows Russia to strike first. Russia is also rushing to amend the pact due to reports that the West may employ low-yield nuclear bombs against it. This allows a limited nuclear attack against Russia. Putin stated, "Nuclear devices of extremely low power are being developed, and we are aware of the ideas circulating in expert circles in the West that such strike assets could be used, and there is nothing particularly horrible about it. We are obliged to take notice of that, and we are taking notice." He also stated that a non-nuclear power would attack his country with the help of a nuclear power. Putin has also kept some pronouncements unclear to allow for a broad interpretation of a new ideology. When Belarus is attacked, Putin's amended doctrine permits Russia to use nuclear weapons. Putin and Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko appear to agree and aim to collaborate. Because Russia conducted nuclear exercises using Mobile Yar's nuclear rocket launchers in July and expects to do more, NATO felt the need to step up its practice. Global power dynamics and nuclear deterrence. In June, Russia and Belarus conducted tactical nuclear exercises in response to perceived Western threats, heightening tensions with NATO, especially amid the Ukraine war. The Kremlin views NATO's annual nuclear exercises as exacerbating these tensions. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov emphasized that escalating NATO pressure isn't viable, while NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte reaffirmed that nuclear deterrence is central to the alliance's strategy. Nuclear deterrence aims to prevent war by ensuring that nuclear-armed states only use their nuclear forces in self-defense or retaliation against severe attacks. While debated for its morality and legality, nuclear deterrence has prevented wars by discouraging the use of nuclear weapons. Russia's recent nuclear policy revisions suggest a willingness to employ nukes, signaling a shift from traditional deterrence. Evaluating the fairness of a 1 versus 32 nuclear conflict, Russia, with the largest arsenal, stands in a dominant position. Only Russia, the U.S., China, and India possess nuclear triads, land, sea, and air-launched missiles. Russia's Yars missiles, capable of carrying 6 300-kiloton warheads and reaching 68 or 35 miles, exemplify its power. Putin controls a stockpile of 5977 warheads, with 1588 deployed and 2889 in reserve, distributed across land-based missiles, submarines, and bombers. Russia's nuclear capacity, including 400 intercontinental ballistic missiles and 10 nuclear submarines, makes it a formidable threat. The president alone can decide to launch nuclear weapons using the Shaget briefcase, which connects him to the military's nuclear forces via the Kazbek network. NATO's response includes 100 nuclear warheads stationed in Belgium, Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, and Turkey, with dual-capable aircraft and coordinated drills led by NATO and the U.S. Air Force. Europe stores B-61 intermediate and low-yield tactical thermonuclear warheads, capable of free-falling or airburst detonations with a delayed timer. Weighing 320 kilos, parachute-attached bombs control descent and trajectory. NATO's bombers are nuclear-capable, and its member nations can also deploy nuclear weapons against Russia. The U.S., UK, and France hold 5,889 warheads, while Russia's total is comparable. NATO has 800 intercontinental ballistic missiles, while Russia has 1185. NATO's nuclear submarine-launched missiles number 2385 compared to Russia's 800, and NATO has 900 aircraft-delivered weapons, with Russia having 580. NATO also has 1912 non-strategic nuclear warheads, significantly more than Russia's 230. The U.S., UK, and France provide nuclear umbrellas to NATO members, ensuring defense against nuclear attacks by other nuclear-armed states. In a potential nuclear conflict, over half of the U.S. population could perish. Major cities would likely be targeted to cripple military infrastructure and hinder post-war recovery. Nuclear detonations create intense fireballs and mushroom clouds, vaporizing nearby people and causing severe burns and blindness up to 20 kilometers away. Nuclear explosions would cause widespread devastation, with blast waves, extreme heat, and radiation killing many and displacing millions. The first days after a nuclear attack would resemble Armageddon, while the long-term effects on health, the environment, and infrastructure would be catastrophic. Radiation would disrupt food security by chilling the atmosphere and shortening growing seasons, leading to widespread drought and slow global recovery over decades. Women and children would bear the brunt of the long-term health impacts. Japan's experience with nuclear warfare, particularly the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings in 1945, highlights these dire consequences. The atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima killed around 7,000 people, and Nagasaki's bombing killed 4,000. Survivors suffered from severe burns, radiation illnesses, and long-term cancers, such as leukemia and thyroid malignancies. Given these devastating effects, NATO and Russia should reconsider the use of nuclear weapons. The growing risk of a broader nuclear conflict, especially with countries like Iran and North Korea potentially involved, could lead to catastrophic damage. However, NATO recognizes the dangers of nuclear war and has prepared alternative military responses. In 2024, NATO conducted Operation Steadfast Defender, a large-scale military exercise involving 9,000 troops, 50 ships, 80 aircraft, and 1,100 combat vehicles, including 130 tanks. The exercise, held across multiple European countries, focused on responding to potential attacks with maritime and Arctic reinforcements prioritized. This drill aimed to strengthen NATO's defense coordination in response to increasing aggression, ensuring readiness for future conflicts. NATO's collective defense and strategy. The second section of Steadfast Defender focuses on NATO's quick reaction force deployment to Poland on the alliance's eastern frontier. This is due to increased pressure on Belarus and its partner Russia around the Polish border. Since other important Baltic cities are at risk of Russian attacks, NATO has practiced its reaction. Operations like Steadfast Defender help NATO's defense strategies and provide critical knowledge at this stage of the fight. These initiatives also show NATO's commitment to collective defense and show Russia that it will defend its partners. This practice in 2024 symbolizes unprecedented togetherness against a common adversary. NATO said Steadfast Defender 2024 will show its ability to quickly deploy forces from North America and other regions to defend Europe. These NATO responses are better than Steadfast Noon because they will have less global impact than nuclear war. If Russia attacks NATO nations, nukes won't be the initial response. NATO exercises like Operation Steadfast Defender demonstrate its commitment to protecting national sovereignty without harming it. However, Russia is cornered and may retaliate with nukes. NATO has tried to stay neutral and avoid combat with Russia until now, but things have worsened, forcing NATO to intervene. Annual military drills are part of its plans, but doing them when Russia is talking about nuclear warfare? It's not a coincidence. NATO is deterring Russia by reminding them that nuclear conflict will end badly. However, if Putin escalates, NATO may have no choice. Thank you for watching this video. If you found the content helpful, please remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest news and analyses. Your support is the motivation for us to continue providing quality content. See you in the next video.